Hey guys, and welcome back to Slow Damage. I'm Freya, and today we're going to be continuing on with Ray's route. I'm really hoping I don't get the bad slash insanity ending, because knowing this developer, it's not going to be pretty. So I'm really scared. But let's go ahead and get going. Let's see. It was now January 1st, New Year's Day. After we watched the sunrise, Ray and I both headed back to the clinic. He was practically falling asleep, so he collapsed onto my bed without even taking his coat off. Oh, so he slept over. Good job. Good job, Toa. Once he started snoring, I had a little more to drink, then fell asleep on the sofa. For once, possibly because of all the drinking, I didn't have any dreams. Sounds like my life. Except for the drinking part. Don't do that, guys. A few hours later. When I awoke, the sun was high in the sky. So like noon then? Yeah. I hadn't had any time to rest after finishing my latest painting, so I was feeling even more lethargic than usual. Yeah, right? Just like, oh, you're done? Okay, sweet. Let's go. Let's go party. Let's do it for Ray, though. I sat up on the sofa, grabbed my cigarettes, and lit one up. Happy New Year, Chief Editor. Inbox, blah, blah. All right. Hi, Ray. How you doing, babe? As I exhaled smoke, Ray started to stir.
Ohayo.
Hey. Ohayo gozaimasu.
Ohayo. Akemashite omedetou.
Aww. Why are you so cute? Why are you so cute? After a loud yawn, he hopped out of bed, rubbing his eyes.
初詣に行きたかったんだけど、だるいわ。ちょっと羽目を外しすぎちゃったわね。
You also did get the crap beaten out of you, but you know.
初詣は明日にして、今日は家でのんびりしましょう。でも。
Have to work? He seemed to remember something because his sleepy face shifted in suspicion. He walked to the fridge and opened it. Oh, you didn't eat it.
やっぱり。
Oh.
飲み物しか入ってない。これじゃ何も作れないわ。
Let's just go get honey toast.
酒がある。
It's not food, Toa.
正月早々何言ってるのよ。
He shot me an exasperated glare, then shut the fridge and folded his arms.
仕方ないわね。うちへ行きましょう。
Ooh.
今日はどこもお店が閉まってるし、そもそも買いに行くのも面倒だし。私の部屋ならいろいろあるから。
I started to suggest we have booze for breakfast, but fell silent. He's not going to go for that, Toa. We already know this. Sure, it was a hassle to leave the clinic, but it'd be even bigger hassle if Ray got pissy at me. Or with me, whatever. Yeah, just go with it. Ultimately, I decided to go with him. Outside, the sky was clearer and blue, and the bright sunshine added a hint of warmth to the winter air. Ray swung his leg over his motorcycle, parked in the parking lot, and I hopped on behind him. Whew. Yeah. We both put our helmets on, then he revved the engine, and we were off. Traffic was lighter today, so we rolled along smoothly until we arrived at Ray's condo building. In Shinkomi, cheap mass-produced high-rises condos were primary housing for the masses. Yes, we've heard this like a million times. But Ray's place wasn't one of them. His rent was on the pricey side, and the building itself was actually up to code. Oh! He a rich boy? Since he held multiple part-time jobs, however, he never seemed to have any money troubles. Yeah. How does he have the time to go to those death matches? This was only my second time visiting his place. We cut through the lobby to the elevator, got off on the 6th floor, and walked down the hallway. At the very end, we arrived at room 606.
いらっしゃい。
Woo! Decent apartment. He unlocked the door and cheerfully sauntered in. Oh, it is a nice apartment. Look at that. Once he switched on the lights, I followed him inside. Maybe I'm just used to Toa's trashy place. Nice artwork. I took my shoes off at the door, then walked down the short hallway to the living room.
準備するから適当に座ってくつろいでていいわよ。
Okay, I'll just be looking at the artwork. That he headed to the kitchen. That's good taste. The living room interior was styled like a classy bar or cafe with dim mood lighting. I don't know, it doesn't look that dim. It was clear at a glance that every single piece of furniture was carefully chosen. In the corner of the room was a bookshelf packed full of books. These photo collections and how-to guides were centered around Ray's favorite aesthetic, body modification. Tattoos, piercings, implants, you name it. As I gazed around the room, Ray worked swiftly to whip up a meal.
さーてと、新年一発目は何を作ろうかしら。あんたには聞かないわよ。どうせ酒かタバコか何でもいいなんだから。
Yeah, probably. He was right, of course. The course of piercings on the hand would be a pain. They would get caught on everything. I ignored him and walked to the bookshelf where I pulled out a book at random and sat down at the table. I decided to kill time by flipping through a collection of photos that would easily turn your stomach if you were already numb to it. I don't know. Body modification is very interesting.
はい、お待たせ。できたわよ。
About 30 minutes later, Ray set a plate of food on the table in front of me. I could never do it because I never like anything long enough to keep it. I closed the book and set it to the side. A pleasant smell wafted up to my nose.
あり合わせで簡単にできて美味しいものってことで、親子丼にしてみました。
It looks delicious. Normally, oyakudon was served in a bowl. Since it was on a plate, it kind of just looked like a chicken omelet. Udon. I'm not saying that right. It looks delicious. They set a bowl of miso soup and a glass of brown liquid on the table. I like miso soup, but it has to be the fish-based miso, not the seaweed-based. I don't like seaweed. He grabbed the glass and raised it to my nose. Right, I grabbed the glass and raised it to my nose. It smelled like oolong tea.
酒は？
Toa.
何言ってるの？親子丼ならお茶でしょ？
親子丼。
って言ってもウーロン茶しかないんだけど。
You sound like a fussy mom as he sat down across the table from me. Well, if he wasn't a fussy mom, you'd probably starve yourself. I mean, you already do, but he noticed the book I had set aside on the table.
あら、この本に興味あるの？
Yeah, just looking at it.
適当。
Yeah, just flip through. He made a show of pouting his lips.
だと思った。トアは傷だらけだけど、別に傷を作ること自体に美学を感じてるわけじゃないんだものね。つくづくもったいないわ。
We're a beautiful masterpiece without even trying, Ray.
で、その話は置いておくとして、食べましょう。新年の初ご飯よ。いただきます。
With that, he grabbed his chopsticks and started eating. Slowly, I picked up my own chopsticks and sank them into the steaming oyakudon. It looked so good. With my first bite, I could taste the sweetness of the eggs and the umami of the seasoning.
はあ、美味しい。暴飲暴食はの胃に優しい味だし、最高。
It looks yummy. He swooned for a moment, then shot a probing look at me.
ね、どう？
Say it's good, Toa. Oishii. Yeah, there we go. Be a good boy. I was eating slowly, but at least I was eating it. For some reason, I found myself willing to ingest it. Maybe I liked the taste? Ray gazed at me rapturously. I use these words. For a moment, like he was touched beyond words.
やだ。ちょっと感動。あんたがちゃんとご飯食べてくれるなんて。
Round of applause for Toa for actually eating and being kind.
いつも食べてるだろ。
Guess that's true.
食べない時もあるじゃない。でもまあ、私が作ったご飯はだいたい食べてくれてるか。
I wonder why that is, Ray. Maybe he does secretly like you deep down, maybe?
まあな。
手料理に文句やケチつけないところは あんたのいいところだと思うわよ。
We continued to chat as we ate, punctuated by slurps of soup. Yum. When Ray finished his food ahead of me. Then Ray finished his food
あー、
ahead
美
of
味し
me.
かった。デザートのアイス用意するわね。
I swear I can read. An ice cream dessert for breakfast? Interesting. With breakfast? He grabbed his dirty dishes and headed to the kitchen. By the time I finally finished my food, he returned with what looked like mochi balls on a plate.
はい、どうぞ。
Love mochi ice cream. He set the plate in front of me and started eating. Apparently it was mochi with ice cream inside. Oh, it's so good. So good. But instead of reaching for the ice cream, I pulled out my pack of 6. This provoked a sharp glare from Ray. Don't
う
smoke in
ち
this
は
man's...
禁煙よ、禁煙。
Exactly. Don't smoke in this house. Reluctantly, I put my cigarettes away. Then I silently pushed the plate of mochi in his direction.
いらないの？
No.
いらない。
I would be super glad. I love
しょ
mochi
う
ice
がな
cream.
いわね。まあ、ご飯は食べたからいいか。
Why am I shocked? Ray is a freaking sugar addict. I forgot. He finished his share of the mochi, then started on mine.
ああ、お腹いっぱい。お腹いっぱいになると、なんだか眠くなっちゃわない？
らしいな。
トアはお腹いっぱい食べることがないものね。でね、眠くなると今度はふわふわしたものが食べたくなるの。
So then are you always sleepy then?
だからこのデザートはぴったりなのよ。
He got a dreamy look on his face.
俺はタバコの方がいいけどな。
Yes, Toa, we know you don't take care of yourself.
タバコは100害あって一理なしじゃない。ちっとも美味しくないし。
Agreed. I agree with you, Ray. Wholeheartedly.
吸ったことあるのか？
They're gross.
あるわよ、昔ね。でも
Yeah.
まずくてすぐにやめたわ。
See, Ray, you and me, we're on the same level wavelength. Now if we could get Toa on the same wavelength, it'd be great. He stacked up the dirty dishes and carried them into the kitchen, then returned with 2 mugs of hot coffee.
はい、インスタントだけど。
He's very house husbandy too. I like that type. He's great. I easily preferred coffee to dessert, so I took the mug and sipped the hot, bitter liquid. Likewise, Ray took a small sip and held the mug in both hands as he fell into a thought.
ねえ、トア。
Hmm.
私ね、今はとっても楽しいし、幸せだって思ってる。
Oh.
けど、ふとした時に不安になることがあるの。昨日もそ
Hmm? He softly fluttered, his softly fluttering eyelashes cast small shadows over his pale cheeks.
う。みんなでワイワイ騒いでる時に、
Oh.
急にね、明日すべてが変わってしまったらどうしようって、
Oh.
そんな風に思ったりもして。
That would explain why he'd seem so forlorn when he was looking out at the city last night.
気が弱くなってるな。
Oh, Toa, come on. Please. He looked up and smiled wearily at me.
そうかもしれないわ。あの時は本当に死ぬって思ったし、それに桐原ももう
He just had a crush on the wrong person, Ray. It's okay.
そのせいで少し弱ってるのかもしれない。
Oh.
でもどうしても考えちゃって、どんなに悪いことをしてもそうじゃなくても死んだら終わりよ。何も残らない。人の命も人生もいつどこで変わるか終わるかわからない。だからただ時間が過ぎるっていう変化ですらとても怖いの。
He bit his lip and squeezed his eyes shut. I watched him silently for a moment, then let out a sigh.
死ぬ目にはあっても生きてるだろ。
運よくね。
He opened his eyes a crack, a half smile playing at his lips, then averted his gaze.
トアは過去をほとんど覚えてないって言うけど、私は過去を覚えていてもあまりいい思い出がないのよ。
Oh.
家のことや学校のこと、 いっそ全部消してしまいたいくらい。
Yeah, but that's what makes you who you are. It sucks, but it's true. I'd heard bits and pieces of Ray's history. As a kid, he was androgynous to the point of being misgendered, and as a preteen, people made assumptions about him. Oh. His parents got divorced when he was young, and he went with his father. Unfortunately, the man was a raging bigot who had no respect for his girly-looking son. Oh.
でもトアと同じ中学に通ってたことは嫌な思い出じゃないわよ。それがあるから今の私があると言っても過言じゃないし。
Oh? Oh, did you have a crush on us, aka Toa? Huh? Huh? Cute.
大げさだな。
Aww. He looked at me in the eye and smiled.
私にとって肯定できる過去って
Oh.
とっても大事なのよ。とにかくそんな楽しいことが少なかった人生の中で今はとっても楽しい。充実してる。
Okay, sorry, but is the light coming from the window like shifting? Like what? It's distracting me. The color's just like whoop, pink, back to yellow. Oh, here's blue now. It's very distracting.
だから
Oh.
怖いの。失うことが怖い。
Toa, give him a hug. He needs one. Go. He muttered under his breath and fell silent. Give him a hug. For a moment, all was quiet. I drank about half my coffee, then rose to my feet. Give him a hug, Toa.
帰る？
ああ。タバコを吸いがてら。
Toa. Oh. He followed me to the door.
飯とコーヒー、うまかった。
He's just kind of spilling his guts to you a little bit, and oh, call Toa. In the entryway, I slipped into my shoes and turned back to face him. Give
ま
him a
た
hug.
クリニックでね。
Give him a hug, Toa.
話聞いてくれてありがとう。
Oh, anytime, sweetie. Freaking Toa. Oh. He gazed at me sadly. I nodded, turned, and left his condo without another word. Give him a hug. Just, go back and hug him. He needs one. No. Toa, why do we have to be so emotionless? As far as seasons went, I didn't much care for winter. Agreed. I don't... yeah. Not because I couldn't tolerate the cold. No, that's... If anything, I preferred the biting chill to the sweltering, suffocating heat any day. So why did I dislike it? Honestly, I couldn't tell you. For some reason, maybe the temperature changed? Winter made me feel sick and achy all over. All things considered, I couldn't claim to like it. Yeah, I heard that, like, if you're, like, if you have, like, plates and metal rods and stuff in your body, the cold will actually make them ache and you're in pain all the time. And since he was in a car wreck, I think, I wouldn't put it past him having some of that. Halfway through January, the New Year's spirit faded, and the city slowly went back to its usual misery. That's too bad. Sounds like New York City. Joking. The injuries I sustained during Kirihara's euphoric episode had mostly healed, so I returned to work at the clinic. Today I was scheduled to work in the afternoon, but Ray didn't show up for his morning shift, so Taku woke me up to cover for him. Oh, what's going on? Shortly after the clinic opened for morning appointments, we got a call from Ray who claimed to have overslept. Normally, he was always perfectly punctual, so it was highly unusual. There is something wrong. When he realized I was the one who answered the call, he apologized at least a dozen times.
本当にごめんね。寝坊しちゃったの。トアが代わりに入ってくれてるんでしょ。なんだかまだ正月気分が抜けてないのかも。ごめんね。シャキッとしなきゃね。お詫びにおごるから今夜はルーストに来てね。
There's something going on. He was scheduled to work at Roost that night, so he couldn't switch shifts. After New Year's, the clinic was swamped with patients, but now that a couple weeks had passed, things had calmed down. Yeah, hospitals were just swamped during the holidays for various reasons. I could handle it on my own just fine, so I quietly did my work as if it was any other day. That evening, I ended my shift once Aratha came to replace me. Ray had invited me out to roost with the promise of a free drink, so I headed back to my place to get ready, then left the building. I need more romantic development between him and Ray. I need him to have emotions. But when I arrived at Roost, Ray was nowhere to be seen. Huh. I sat down at the deserted counter and made eye contact with the manager. Hey, Command! Hi!
いらっしゃい。
Hi!
レイは
Yeah, that's my question.
スタッフルームでボディアート希望のお客さん
Oh,
と
okay.
見積もりの話をしてるよ。
I would totally get the glowing fingernails. That just sounds cool. I'm not understanding. My problem is that what happens if they don't glow anymore? Or I don't like the color anymore.
何飲む？お任せ。
ああ
With a knowing grin, he promptly started to make my drink. What is it going to be, like a whiskey? Right as I set my pack of cigs on the counter, Ray walked out from the back with a guy I didn't recognize.
それじゃ施術したい日が決まったら連絡してね
Apparently, this guy was Ray's client. He bowed and left the bar.
あらとはいらっしゃい
Why'd I put parentheses around the client? Then Ray spotted me and walked to the counter. Hi, Ray.
今日はごめんねありがとう正月明けでクリニックも忙しかったでしょそこそこ一杯おごるわもう注文した
お任せでオーダーもらってるよ。
The manager set my glass down in front of me. It looks like a whiskey.
じゃあそれは私のおごりで
了解。
どうも
Thank you, Ray. I grabbed the glass, toasted Ray and the manager, and took a sip.
それにしてもまさか寝坊するとは思わなかったわ
Oh, it happens, sweetheart.
ほんと自分で自分にがっかり
It happens from time to time. Grimacing, Ray put one hand on the counter and let out a dramatic sigh.
私自分が遅刻するのってほんとダメなのよ人の遅刻は気にならないんだけど
Nicer than me, I get upset when people are late. Like, I try to be 15 minutes early.
おやレイ君、自分に厳しいタイプなの？
なのかしらね人のことはいいんだけど自分が決めたことは絶対に守りたいの守れないと嫌なの
珍しいね。
Yeah.
他人に厳しく自分に甘いタイプはよく見るけど。
自分を甘やかすとすぐダメになっちゃいそうな気がして私自分を信じてないから
How can you not love this man? Toa, what is wrong with you? Come on.
そうなんだ。
As I listened to them talk, I lit a cigarette. Then I heard the door open.
いらっしゃいあら五十嵐くん
At this, I glanced over my shoulder.
バワセ
I was wondering,
トワさん来てるんすね
it's been a while, Igarashi. Igarashi spotted me and walked over with a friendly smile.
隣
I did.
いいっすか
I guess. Sure. I nodded and he plopped down on the empty seat beside me.
注文は
ジントニックを
Okay.
はーい店長ジントニック
Alright. Igarashi bowed his head to the manager, then Ray, then me.
明けましておめでとうございます
おめでとう今年もよろしくね
よろしくっすいやーレイさんもトワさんも正月にやってたやつ見ました
正月にやってたやつ
What?
見てないんすかありがとうございます
The manager handed him a drink. He took it, then returned to the conversation.
正月にやってたじゃないですか伝説の男たちシリーズ一挙放送
Legendary gentleman, huh?
伝説ああそれってヤクザ映画
Okay, I'd watch him.
そうっすもう最高なんすよ見たことあります
Why do you seem so innocent for a Yakuza, Igarashi? As Igarashi fixed him with a hopeful look, Ray smiled dryly.
あんまりっていうか全然
Oh.
そんなに興味ないし
マジっすかすっごいかっこよくってしびれるんで今度騙されたと思って見てみてくださいよほんと熱いんで
Igarashi leaned forward eagerly, clutching his hands into fists. Ray recoiled slightly.
でもほら、そういう人たちが身近な町に住んでるわけだし、リアルを知ってるだけに、ねえ。
True.
フィクションだとそりゃかっこいいんでしょうけど。
Also true.
いやいや、組の中にもマジでかっこいい人たちっていますから、本当に全部が全部フィクションってわけじゃないっすよ。
Whatever you say, Igarashi.
例えば
Is he gonna say Sasaki?
榊さんも遠野さんもそうですし、今はいないけど、まだらめさんだってすごかったんすよ。
Okay.
まだらめって。
Darame. I don't. Ray shot me a look. Alright, we were in the Yakuza. I didn't meet his eyes, instead I took a long drag.
トアさんが組にいた頃は、まだらめさんとよくつるんでましたよね。
Ex-boyfriend, maybe? When I didn't answer, Igarashi sensed the awkward tension and hastily kept talking.
ああ、まあそんな感じで、あのシリーズは面白いんで、ぜひ見てほしいっす。
Gotta be an ex.
そうね。
I could still feel Ray's eyes on me, but I continued to ignore him. I didn't like to think about the time I spent with the Takasato Gumi. I don't know why that's so hard for me to say. Especially if it pertained to Madarame. Ah.
そういえば新作、トアさんの絵、あれって新作っすよね。去年はなかった気がするし。
I wish I would put them up here. I wish I could see them. Desperate to avoid any awkward silence, Igarashi pointed to the painting on the wall. It was my painting of Kirihara.
そう。よく気づいたわね。
そりゃ俺もトアさんの絵、好きっすから。
え、意外。五十嵐くんってそういうタイプに見えないのに。
そうっすか？興味あるからルーストにも来てるんすよ。
じゃあ、
Cute.
そっちの写真はどう？
Ray pointed to a photograph on display featuring multiple piercings embedded in someone's stomach. It was surrounded by similar photos of eyelid piercings. Oh, that would bother me. Black tribal tattoos and so on. Igarashi's smile stiffened.
嫌いじゃないっすけど、なんていうか、
Not his thing.
強烈ですよね。
It's okay. It's okay, Igarashi. It's not for everyone.
ダメってこと？
Oh, Ray. Don't be jealous.
ダメとまでは言わないっすけど、俺にはまだちょっと早いかもしれないっす。
I mean, I think it's interesting, but I would just never do it.
そうなんだ。残念。それ私の作品なのよ。
Oh, poor baby.
え？
Oh, that was cute though. Igarashi leapt up in his seat and looked from Ray to the photographs and back, eyes wide.
この写真を撮ったのがってことっすか？
違う違う。
He did the things.
じゃあ、ピアスをはめたり、タトゥーを彫ったりしたのが、レイさん？
Which can, unless I mean eyebrow piercing, because I don't see how an eyelid could be pierced.
そうよ。やだ。そんなに意外？
How would it not scrape your eye? Like your eyeball.
意外ですよ。だってレイさん、全然そういう感じに見えないし。
That's what I'm saying. I want to see if he has any body modifications.
私、自分を改造することには興味ないのよ。人に施してこそっていうのがポリシーなの。
See, now I'm a little disappointed that he doesn't have anything done. Oh well. Ray rested a hand against the counter.
生きている人間の肉体を着飾るって、そう簡単にはできないことじゃない？それに皮膚や筋肉の触り心地、伸び具合、色から質感まで全てが同じ人間なんてどこにもいないのよ。
Careful, Ray. You're starting to sound like a cannibal.
だから私は常に世界でただ一つのキャンバスに触れさせてもらってるの。いつもオンリーワンの作品を生み出すことができるなんて最高に素敵なことじゃない？
はあ。
でも同じものが世界に2つとないからこそ慎重に丁寧にどうすればその人に最も似合うものになるかを考えなきゃいけないの。絶対に失敗できないし それも含めてとっても刺激的なのよね。奥が深くて芸術面から見ても面白いと思うの。
そうっすね。そうかもしれないっすね。
Now it's Igarashi's turn to recoil. I mean, Ray's... he loves what he does, I guess. He's just really making Igarashi... Igarashi seems too sweet to be in the Yakuza.
じゃあレイさん的にトアさんはどうなんすか？
What? What do you mean? What do you mean about this? Out of nowhere, he shifted the subject to me. I shot him a sidelong glance as I crushed my cigarette in the ashtray. Yeah, don't bring us into this.
トアは私が手を加えなくてももう自分で勝手に完成してるじゃない。傷だらけの体ってそれだけで一つの芸術作品よね。
See, he agrees with me. We are a work of art masterpiece all on our own.
なるほど。それはなんかわかる気がします。
でも。
What? Oh, hello. Ray narrowed his eyes in contemplation, then he grabbed my hand and pressed it against the counter. What are you doing? He leaned down and carefully scrutinized the scars on the back of my hand. What are you looking at?
なんだよ。
この傷の角度はいいんだけど、もう少し、あと少しだけ下にずれてたらっていつも思うのよね。
What? Okay, Ray. He traced his index finger over the trajectory of my scar. What is... Okay. Body modification.
そっすか。
Okay. Igarashi still looked uncomfortable. Yeah, just a little bit.
ああ、なんだか暴れたくなってきちゃった。
Ray let go of my hand and stretched his arms wide.
お店が終わったらデスマッチエリアへ行こうかしら。
お、いいっすね。たくさんぶちのめしてきてくださいよ。
もちろん。五十嵐くんも一緒にってちょっと無理よね。
Yeah, he's part of the Yakuza. He's not really allowed to be there. I mean, I guess they are, but they can't really do anything.
そうっす。
Like, they're allowed to be there, but not really to intervene or anything, so they can't participate. Because we went there with Mayu and Kotaro and Eiji. Igarashi shook his head sadly. Yeah, they can't go technically. The Takasado Gumi turned a blind eye to death matches as a recreational sport since it was a healthy outlet for the citizens' stress. Healthy. It's like the purge, but you can go whenever you want, I guess. But if people start living or setting up shop in the area, they might start to organize, so the Takasado Gumi kept watch periodically. The gang had no interest in shutting the place down. They were still an unwelcome presence for most fighters. Thus, Igarashi couldn't participate due to his gang affiliation.
トアは行くわよね。
Say what? Ray's tone was so matter-of-fact I glared at him over my glass.
なんで俺
I
が。
was like, I thought we didn't like going there. I thought it was some... I guess since we're on his route, I guess we're gonna have to end up going there again. Felt like we haven't been there before.
別に参加しろなんて言ってないし、行くだけならいいじゃない。トア、喧嘩好きでしょ？
Let's go see him fight. That'll be interesting. Technically, it wasn't fighting that I liked, but it was too much hassle to get into the details, so I sipped my whiskey without... See, it was whiskey, without responding.
さあ、今日もたくさん暴れちゃうわよ。
Okay.
よっ、レイさんかっこいい。
Can we record it and just show Igarashi? He raised both his fists in a victory pose, and Igarashi cheered. Yeah, I wanted to see Ray fight. Let's see Ray fight. Rolling my eye down the rest of my whiskey. I guess. Ray's so cute. I want to go see him fight, though, with all of his friends. Oh, guess we're there. After his shift at Roost, Ray and I walked over to the deathmatch area. Then we met up with his buddies, and together we all headed in deeper. Like us, there are other groups wandering around. Two such groups encountered each other, a fight was sure to start. According to the rules of the game, combatants fought one-on-one. Likewise, Ray's group and conduct their duels individually. The only reason they traveled in a group was to ensure somebody was always around to help in case of an emergency. Oh, look at everyone looking good. Oh, Ray's team consisted of his co-workers from Roost. They were normally friendly people, but here everything about them changed. Their smoke darkened and I could feel their thirst for chaos. I love their outfits. Ray looks great. They all look so good. As we walked along, another group challenged us. Yeah. In seconds, they matched up against each other. Anyone left without an opponent would stand back and join the audience. Ray was already eyeing his competitor. Woo! They slowly closed in, waiting for the perfect moment, and then... Woo! The phrase roar as their cue, the fighters all leapt into action. There are no strict requirements for fighting style other than the tactic of understanding that firearms were prohibited. Reason being that they ruined the fun of the game. Even on the off chance someone did bring a gun, he would be outed to the entire community as a coward, and that label would stay with them permanently. I stood among the crowd, having a smoke and watching Ray fight. His opponent leapt into a all-out offensive right out of the gate, but Ray used his footwork skills to dodge, occasionally retaliating with a punch or a kick. Pretty smart, wear out your opponent. His opponent used both arms to block, but wasn't able to negate the full impact of Ray's blows, so he was forced to go on the defensive.
ほら、もっと気なって。
He looks so good. I love it. With his lip curled in a smirk, Ray provoked his opponent while continuing his barrage. Hello, dude. Overpowered, the other man attempted to hold his ground. He lowered his arms and charged forward in the last-ditch struggle. Aww. The guy slammed his shoulder into Ray's torso. Then as Ray staggered, his opponent drove his fist in Ray's face. How does this man go to work after doing this all the time? Ray shoved him away and leapt back, grinning. He spat the blood out of his mouth.
そう来なくっちゃ。
With that, he came charging in to take a swing. His opponent went for another tackle to try to knock him off balance. This time, Ray knew to dodge. Not only that, but he retaliated with a fierce elbow drop. Ooh, that would hurt.
まだまだ。
After that, Ray spent the rest of the match pummeling him. Oh! Oh, it looks so good! The guy couldn't get a single hit in. Meanwhile, Ray beat him unconscious and had a great time doing it. His usual friendly vibes had vanished, and now he was pouring every last ounce of his soul into his beatdown. Oop. As I gazed at his deranged, toothy grin, I felt a faint ache deep inside. In the past, he told me he loved the feeling of bones breaking against his fist. Interesting. Every time I watched him fight, I felt the urge to paint him. Ooh. But we're never gonna tell him that. When he finished his fight, he tilted his head back and exhaled into the sky. Then he shook the blood from his knuckles. Despite the freezing temperatures outside, his forehead was dripping with sweat. Yep. Exercise does that. The other pairs hadn't finished yet, but he ignored them. Shoulders heaving, he walked straight to me.
あー、気持ちよかった。ねえ、見てた？私の戦いぶり、見てた？
Oh, you did so good, babe. I love this outfit. His fierce attitude had evaporated. He was back to his happy-go-lucky self. Oh.
かっこよかった？どうだった？
Yes, you look very cool. He kept peppering me with questions, so I just nodded.
もう。
Come on, Toa. Frustrated by my lack of response, Ray made a show of pouting. Then he realized his friends were back from their fight and turned to greet them.
レイ、お疲れ様。
I love your outfit, Honami.
お疲れ様。
Narata's looking nice as usual.
あー、勝った勝った。お疲れ様。
I feel like I could have done more with Junko because I'm pretty sure we've seen... Well, maybe this is just their normal outfit. I don't know. I feel like I've seen this top on Junko before. Or maybe I've seen... don't know, maybe I'm just nitpicking, but everyone looks great.
お疲れ様。あともう何戦かしたらご飯でも食べに行きましょうよ。お肉が食べたいわ。
いいね。
All of them had won their fights. I was told his group was infamously tough to beat. A large crowd watched us at a distance.
そういえば、例の集団暴行グループの残党がチームを組んで、デスマッチエリアに出没してるらしいね。
Aren't you all violent? Is that why you're here? Oh, they mean the ones who are jumping people. At this, Rei, Junko, and Honami all turned to look at Arata, frowning.
あれだ、犯人たちって全員捕まったわけじゃなかったの？
詳しい話はよくわからないけど、黒で統一した服を着た似たような連中がうろついてるって。
Copycats?
生きがったバカが真似してるって可能性もあるけど、
Yeah.
どっちにしろ会いたくないわね。何されるかわかんないわ。
でもぶちのめして返り討ちにしてやるって手もあるわよ。その方がむしろせいせいするんじゃないかしら。
できればあんまり会いたくはないけどね。
そうね。今会うと怒りに我を忘れてやりすぎちゃいそうだもん。私。
そうよね。
There was an awkward silence, then Ray clapped his hands together to dispel it.
さあ次行きましょう。次。もしその残党チームに会っちゃったらその時はその時よ。
そうよ。もしあったら私がケチョンケチョンにしてやるんだから。
Onami raised an arm and flexed their bicep. I love Onami. I love all of them. Giggling, Ray started walking, and his friends followed after him. A beat later, I followed too. If I had to guess, he was probably putting on a tough front around them. Yeah. Maybe he doesn't want to let them know. His true feelings were closer to what he admitted to me back at his place. He was scared of what he could lose. Aw. It was the first time he ever opened up to me. I got the sense that Kirihara's betrayal had really shaken him. Oh, poor babe. He seemed like he was struggling in the aftermath. Yeah, that's why we need to be nicer to him, Toa. As I lit my second cigarette, I quietly watched Ray chatting happily with his friends. Be nicer. He needed a hug. In the end, we didn't encounter the assault party thugs, and the night ended on a victorious note. Yeah. Come on, Toa. You should have given him a hug. Ray needed a hug. But no. Hey, we're back here. At Daddy's. Next day. I wasn't scheduled to work, nor was Ray. Instead, the two of us hit up the local diner for lunch. I told him I only wanted coffee, but for some reason he ordered me a bowl of pea soup too. I tried to tell him I didn't want it, but he insisted I had to eat it. So I reluctantly picked up my spoon. He's trying to get you to eat food. Meanwhile, he polished off a chicken sandwich with salad. He ordered a double chocolate fudge parfait for dessert. Ooh, yum. He arrived in a tall glass swirled with hot fudge and whipped cream. Sipping my black coffee, I watched him eat it with relish.
いやー美味しい。生クリーム最高。
You're so cute.
明け方に肉を食べたのによく入るな。
After the death matches were over, we'd gone to a steakhouse. I ordered a beer while the rest of them feasted on juicy red meat.
それとこれとは別なの。暴れた後はお肉が食べたくなるのよ。甘いものはいつでも入るけどね。
He scooped up a big bite of whipped cream and slid it into his mouth. Oh, sounds yummy. The sight was enough to give me heartburn, so I averted my eye. Then I set my mug down and pulled out my cigs. Right as I was about to light up, however, Ray's phone started to buzz. I keep going too far over, sorry.
誰かしら。
I don't know. He set his spoon down and grabbed his phone.
ねえ、とは。
Yes? As he stared down in his phone, his face fell.
また集団暴行事件って、もしかして昨日聞いた残党の仕業かしら。
I mean, we didn't kill Kirihara, but he is in the hospital.
どうだろうな。
Copycats. As I exhaled the smoke, he looked up.
暴行事件なんてこの町じゃ日常茶飯事なんだし、いちいち反応しても仕方がないって分かってるんだけどね。
Give Ray a hug, Toa.
でも、当たり前だから気にしなくなるっていうのは、とても怖いことよね。なんだか、慢性的に心が死んでいくようで、とても怖い。
Yeah, that's scary. He picked up his spoon and idly swirled the contents of his glass.
この間からずっと怖いって言ってるな。
Yeah. His expression shifted awkwardly.
確かにそうかも。よくないわね、こういうの。
Yeah.
言うこと自体は別に。
どういうこと？
他の奴らの前では言わないだろ。疲れないのか？
He fell silent and his brow furrowed.
みんなを不安にさせたり、心配かけたりしたくないから。みんな集団暴行の被害を受けた私と新のことを気にかけてる。だから私が率先して立ち直ってるって態度を示すのよ。
Was Arata over it too? Or are they hiding it as well?
お前、
I crushed my cigarette in the ashtray and looked at him.
周りの人間を信じてないんだな。
Ooh, Toa, no.
何言ってるのよ。そんなわけないじゃない。
Flustered, he pushed back.
信じてるわ。みんな大好きな友達よ。
そうは見えないな。
Toa, stop! I'm begging you. At this, his face crumpled like he was on the verge of tears. He hung his head to hide it. Toa, why did you...
ドアの意地悪。
That's what I'm thinking. Why are we so mean? I didn't respond. I just slurped my cold coffee. Why are we so mean? Noah. On our way out, Ray looked pretty bummed, so I asked him about his plans for the day. At first, he looked at me dubiously, but when he realized I wanted to hang out, he brightened up. Oh,
やだ。ドアから誘ってくれるなんて。明日は雪が降るんじゃないかしら。
I'm hoping that we feel bad for being a douchebag. Oh, God.
特に予定がないなら帰るけど。
待って、ある。っていうか、
Let's
行き
go
ま
on
しょ
a date. Go on a date, Toa.
どこ？
Go.
う。せっかくだから、新興味の外へ出てみない？
Okay. Shikomi was by no means cut off from the mainland. We were free to come and go as we pleased. Ordinary citizens were required to travel by water taxi since cars and planes were reserved for foreign tourists and VIPs. That meant we had to travel all the way to the pier if we wanted to leave, so I had never bothered. Seemed like a huge waste of time, but Ray was excited about it, so off we went. Ooh, we get to see someplace else. Hey! Oh.
まさかドアから誘ってくれるなんてね。
Going on a date. Finally. Ray gushed as we walked along the pier to the water taxi pickup area.
たまにはな。
Oh, come on, Toa.
とか言って、本当は悪いこと言ったなって思ってるんでしょ
I hope so. Yes, I am the little voice in his head. That's what I'm saying. Yes.
別に。
No, it's exactly that. I'm the voice in the head.
う。またまた。でも嬉しいわ。ありがとう。
He beamed from ear to ear.
本土に行ったら油彩用の画材で何かいいのがないか探しましょう。あとスイーツもね。新興味にはないものを探したいわ。
Ooh. That'll be fun. Let's go. As he eagerly babbled on, the pickup area came into view up ahead. A short line had formed, so we queued up behind them.
そういえば、トアと新興味の外に出たことないわよね。
あ
あ。私一人で出たことはあるんだけど、タクに声かけても断られちゃうのよね。
Maybe
温度があまり好きじゃないのかしら。
Maybe he will like burst into flames if he leaves.
興味ないんだろ。
やっぱりそう思う？
Yeah. As we chatted idly, we moved up the line until eventually it was our turn.
待て。
What? Just then, the security guard on watch came over and grabbed Ray by the arm.
お前
No!
はダメだ。
Don't touch him.
どういうこと？
新興味の外へ出る者は全員チェックしている。
He jerked his chin upwards at the security camera above us.
お前は負債者だ。だから外へ出ることはできない。
Wait, Ray's a debtor? Since when?
え
Ray's eyes widen in horror.
負債者何それ
Oh no.
負債者は新公務の外に出ることはできない。知っているだろう。
知ってるわよ。知ってるけど、私は借金なんかしてないわ。
What happened? Oh, did someone... Did his dad get him in debt and not tell him?
嘘をつけ。お前は負債者だ。
嘘なんかつくわけないでしょ。あのカメラ壊れてるんじゃないの？
黙れ。
For a moment, Ray looked utterly baffled, but then the anger set in and he glared sharply at the security guard. Shaking himself out of the man's grip, he turned to me. Aw, guess her date's over.
高里組の事務所へ行きましょう。私、負債者じゃないもの。絶対に向こうが間違ってる。
Yeah, let's do an overnight date then. Scoffing, he turned away and started walking. I shot a glance at the stoic security guard, then headed after Ray. Oh, God. Poor Ray. At least he... Arriving at the Takasato office, we opened the door and walked in. Normally the place was deserted, but today it was loud and hectic. The goons all ran around like the world was ending. As I wondered what was going on, I flagged someone down. At first he glared at me, but then he realized who I was and dropped the attitude. I had no interest in getting involved in the Takasato drama, so I simply explained that we were here to inquire about a debt. He asked us to wait here, then hurried off down the hall. A few minutes later, a lanky, aloof man in a plain business suit came walking toward us. He explained to us that he was in charge of debt processing services. When Ray asked him for more information, he was very forthright. According to him, Ray's father... Oh, God. I don't even think that should be illegal. Ray's father had incurred a debt with the Takasawa Gumi they had failed to repay for some time. He was supposed to make payments using the money he earned working at a casino, but instead he kept gambling away more than he earned in a vicious cycle that only increased his total debt. This had continued for some time, but now they had decided Ray's father was unable to pay up, so they shifted the burden onto his son instead. Take the dude's kneecaps or sell his organs. Don't dump it on the kid. If this was the mainland, it would be completely unheard of for the liability to fall onto a family member. Oh, okay. But the Shinkomi were forced to play by the Takasada Gumi's rules. They wanted their money and they didn't care how they got it. Take the guy and sell his organs. Apparently, Ray's father claimed his son consented to taking on the debt. A debt the tune of 300 million yen. Ugh. When Ray heard the numbers, all the blood drained from his face. Once the accountant had finished his spiel, he hurried back to his office. Oh, Ray, no. Yeah. After he was gone, Ray bit his lip and stared at the floor, his fist shaking.
3億ですって。
Never gonna pay that off. His voice trembled as he forced the words out.
父親とはずっと会ってないの。ずっと。もう何年もずっとよ。今どんな姿をしてるかすらも知らない。なのに何なの。よりにもよってなんで私があんなクソ親父の尻拭いをしなくちゃならないのよ。なんで私が。
Jeez, Ray's life is just really falling apart at the end of this year. Right before Ray could vent his anger, the door at the end of the hall opened.
Oh, toi.
Sakaki! It was Sakaki. He strolled over as if he had all the time in the world.
今お前たちが来てるって聞いたんでな。ちょうどいいと思ってよ。
He turned his unreadable poker face on Ray.
泉の息子、レイ君か。ちょっと親父さんのことで話があるんだ。そこの部屋行ってくれねえか。
He jerked his chin in the direction of the door that he had just opened.
わかったわ。
Ray shot me a terrified look and walked off into the room Sakaki had indicated. Once he was gone, Sakaki turned to me.
でな、俺はお前にも話があるんだよ。親父の次の月命日に集会を開こうと思ってるんだが。
We didn't go to the funeral. Why would we come to the anniversary of his death?
いや、
Exactly. No, why?
まあそう言うだろうとは思ってたよ。一応な、親父の供養と体制の仕切り直しってことで、高里組の直参が全員顔を出すんだ。
I'm not associated with you anymore.
できれば親父と血のつながった息子のお前にも来てもらいてんだが、
俺には関係ない。赤の他人だ。
Exactly.
おいおい、釣れないね。
Frowning at my blunt refusal, he shook his head and sighed.
無理にとは言わねえが、ちった考えるそぶりぐらいしたらどうだ。
Why should we? Why should we? I fell silent at his scolding tone. Then he let out another sigh.
分かったよ。集会には出なくても構わねえが、遠野に気をつけろ。
Why would I want to go near Tono anyway?
とう。
I looked at him dubiously. What did Tono have to do with this?
あいつはもともと俺と仲が悪かったが、俺が親父の後を継ぐってことで相当悔しがってるらしいんだよ。
Well, you were second in command. Of course you're going to be in charge.
今度の集会が終わったら独立するんだと。ガキみたいな嫌がらせをするほど性根が腐っちゃいねえとは思いたいが、目的のためなら手段を選ばないタイプでもあるからな。用心しとけよ。
ああ。
As the conversation died, the door down the hall opened and Ray walked out. You doing okay? Could see that his eyes were completely unfocused.
おう、話は終わったか？
What'd they do? Ray ignored Sakaki and turned his empty eyes to me.
行きましょ
You okay? Something was clearly wrong with him, but I didn't press him about it. Instead, we set off for the exit.
またな。
Sakaki called after us as we walked out. Ray needs like
う。クリニックまで送っていくわ。
What? We're not gonna finish going on our day date? Ray spoke in a flat voice.
何かあったのか？
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
何も。
No. It sure didn't look like nothing, but I didn't argue. In the end, we walked to the clinic in total silence. Ray, please talk to us. No bun. Back at the clinic, Ray followed me up to my apartment. He stared down at the floor for a while. Then finally, he looked at me with a pained expression.
ね
Yeah? After I switched on the TV and pulled up my coat off, I looked over at him. He stared back at me like he had something to say. Koa, go give him a hug. He needs one.
別に俺にまで気を使う必要ないだろ。
Yeah. Come on. As I spoke, I lit a cigarette. Ray's gaze wandered hesitantly around the room, then returned to me.
借金のことを本当どうしようって思ってタクにも話した方がいいのかしら。どう思う？
I mean, it's not like he can do much. He already has
い
the
いんじゃ
job.
ないか。
そうよね。
Maybe get him to pay you more. He nodded like he was trying to convince himself, then pulled his phone out of his coat pocket and started tapping.
タクに連絡しておいた。時間ができたらここに来てほしいって。
Mumbling quietly, he sat down on the sofa and stared into space. I took a long drag, leaned against the wall, and shifted my gaze to the TV flickering fruitlessly in the dark. He needs so... My main source of income is derived from the casino industry. Okay. After I finished my cigarette, I looked up at the clock on the wall and found 30 minutes had passed by. Ray was still sitting on the sofa in silence. Just then there was a knock at the door, and it opened. Hi, Taku. Taku peeked in looking worried.
どうした？何かあったのか？
Ray needs more money.
タク、
Ray looked over at him with a mix of relief and hesitation.
仕事中なのに、ごめんね。
いや、大丈夫だ。少しならいつもの休憩と変わらん。で、何があったんだ？
Taku walked over to the sofa and sat down next to Ray.
あのね、
From there, Ray told Taku about his father's debt. The guy kept gambling away all the money he earned from his job. That Takasada Gumi got fed up and dumped the debt onto Ray instead. His father told them Ray had agreed to it. Now, they only found out because two of us had tried to take a water taxi out of Shinkomi. The more he talked, the more his expression crumpled in pain. He needs a freaking hug. Frowning, Taku rubbed the back of his hand as he listened. Yeah, he needed some physical comfort. Like,
そいつは大変なことになっちまったな。
私、どうすればいいのかしら。
親父さんとはどうなんだ？連絡は？
もう何年もずっと連絡してないわ。
Hmm.
絶対に会いたくないもの。
Ray's tone was dripping with stubborn fury.
そうか。だが、そうも言ってられんだろう。会って話さんことには。
嫌なの、本当に。それだけは嫌。どうしても。絶対に。
Taku didn't seem too sure how to respond to Ray's attitude, and he frowned. What does...
借金はいくらなんだ？
Honestly, what would going to see his dad do? Like...
3億。
Yeah. His eyes flew open.
おいおい。
That's like $3 million. I want to say it's like $3 million? Something crazy like that?
信じられない額でしょ。
Ray donned a half-hearted, self-depreciating smile.
あのろくでなしが返済できなかった分が全部私にスライドするんですって。親子だから連帯責任は当然なんだそうよ。私が返済義務を放棄することもできるけど、その場合はあの男がバラバラにされるらしいわ。
See, easy out. I would totally just take that route. Be like, no, screw this guy. I haven't talked to him in years. He's a deadbeat douchebag. No, I'm not doing this.
売れるところは全部売って金にするって。それを避けるためには私が返すしかないのよ。
Maybe I'm just unnaturally cold-hearted. So I would totally be like, yeah, just sell him for parts.
お金を稼ぐ方法もいろいろとアドバイスしてくれたしね。
Scoffing, his smirk grew.
とりあえず今月分は払うわ。少しずつでも返していかないと。
そんな単純な問題じゃないだろう。高里組のことだ。すぐに悪質なやり方で早く返せと脅しに来るぞ。
They'll send Kotaro and Mayu after him. I don't know, because he's friends with Toa, so you think, I don't know.
それに親父さんが借金をやめてなかったらどうする？お前が返済しても親父さんがまた借りたら何の意味もない。
That's another thing, yeah, he's gonna keep adding onto it. That's what I'm saying, just let him be chopped up and sold for parts.
お前が親父さんに会いたくないってことはよくわかった。だが、この問題に関しては直接話し合った方がいい。
Because he's not gonna stop. I mean, he had the Yakuza after him and he didn't stop.
話し合わなきゃならん。
大丈夫よ。きっと。
Taku shook his head firmly. Yeah, you have...
できるだけ早く解決するんだ。
そうね。そうするように私も考えてみる。
Ray rose to his feet and looked at each of us with a guilty smile on his face.
話をしたら少し落ち着いたわ。二人とも余計な時間を取っちゃってごめんね。とはもう今日はせっかく誘ってくれたのに。本当にごめんなさい。
It's okay. His gaze was fixed on the phone in his hand.
今夜またみんなでデスマッチエリアに行くみたい。 連絡が来たの。だから準備しなきゃ。もう帰るね。本当にありがとう。ごめんね。
Half distracted, he grabbed his coat from the back of the sofa and rushed out of the room. Taka fixed me with a stern look. Why are you looking at me?
とは、今夜のデスマッチ、レイについていってくれないか。無茶しそうで心配なんだ。頼む。
わかった。
Okay. We'll go. Exhaling smoke, I bent forward and crushed my cigarette in the ashtray on the floor. I could tell he was worried about Ray. Well, even I could tell something was wrong with Ray when he staggered out of the room just now. But that wasn't why I wanted to watch Ray compete. I couldn't help but think about the time Ray's smoke lashed out at me. There was something about it that viscerally, I don't know, resembled the way Ray looked when he fought. Like the calm before the storm, he seemed like he was barely keeping a lid on some kind of emotional outburst. Maybe he was hiding something. And if so, maybe I could figure it out if I watched him fight. I'm surprised he hasn't been going more often. After that, Taku went back to work, so I grabbed my coat and left room because we did say that we wanted to draw him every time we saw him fight. So take your sketch pad and just go. Later that night, when I sent Ray a message letting him know I was coming, he replied almost instantly. I wasn't sure he'd agree to it, given how he was acting earlier. They said would wait for me at the usual meeting spot on the outskirts of the district. Ooh, everyone looking good. When I arrived, he and his friends were already there waiting for me. As soon as we entered the deathmatch area, we were challenged by an opposing group. Yeah. Ray was the first to step forward. He hadn't spoken much since we essentially met up, and he was acting noticeably different. His usual optimism had vanished, replaced by icy hostility. I joined the circle of onlookers surrounding the duel. And I realized something: the entire opposing team was dressed in black. No, they were the assault party guys? A moment after the thought crossed my mind, the battle began. Sure enough, Ray was different tonight. Just as I sensed the other on the way here. His lips pursed tightly together. He threw out heavy punch after heavy punch without letting his opponent get a single hit in edgewise. Partway through, however, he switched to a defensive strategy, purely dodging with no counterattacks. Almost like he wanted to avoid the other guy touching him at all costs. On closer inspection, I noticed his opponent's fist glinting unnaturally. Oh, he had brass knuckles on? I squinted to get a better look. It was a knife. Ray's opponent had concealed a knife up his sleeve and was trying to attack with it. He was hiding it so well you'd have to be paying attention to notice. If the weapon was discovered, the entire crowd would disparage him, which was probably why he kept it hidden. Over and over, Ray dodged the guy's punches and slipped in a punch to his gut. When he doubled over, Ray followed up with a hard kick to the shoulder. The man fell onto his back. Ray straddled him and started wailing on him. With every hit, the guy let out a grunt of pain. His face was swollen and he was rapidly losing the will to fight, but Ray didn't stop. As I watched him, I felt that familiar ache in my gut. In this moment, he was a mindless puppet who only lived for violence. I wanted nothing more than to capture on the canvas. See, we have a weird taste. As he continued to pummel an opponent that didn't fight back, the crowd's attention gradually shifted to him. Despite the name, death matches generally stopped short of killing the losing fighter, though it was known to happen on occasion. There was a common understanding between the combatants that they weren't out for blood, just testing their strength. Cheers faded and the crowd started to tense up.
Rei.
Harata was in the audience with me for this round. They walked into the ring and grabbed Ray by the shoulder.
もうやめよう。それ以上やったらダメだよ。
Yeah. Ray didn't stop. Meanwhile, the other guy was completely limp like he had passed out.
レイ
Screaming his name in protest, Arata yanked him by the shoulder. Come on, wake up. Ray snapped to his senses and fell still. Then slowly he turned in Arata's direction. The look on his face was like that of a child who didn't understand what he had done wrong.
レイ
You okay? With a hollow whimper, Ray
Oh.
looked down at the opponent he was straddling. Yeah. The dude's almost dead. The man's face was now swollen beyond recognition, bleeding and twitching. A knife lay beside him, probably the one he had smuggled in.
ナイフを持ってたんだ
Arata crouched down and held their hand just over the man's mouth.
息はあるみたいでも
Arata frowned at the gruesome carnage Ray had inflicted. Before long, Junko and Honami finished their fights and came running over.
ちょっとレイどうしたの
Ray, kind of went a little wild.
レイ、
They both took one look at the grisly mess and stopped short in shock.
やだ。私、
Oh, Ray. Stunned, Ray stared blankly into space as he scrambled away from his victim. Dark blood dripped from his knuckles.
おい
Oh no, not you. Go away. A sharp voice rang out. I looked over to find the group of men in black all gathered together.
ふざけてんじゃねえぞ
A man wearing a black hoodie stormed over and shouted in Ray's
あい
face.
つが死んだらどうしてくれるんだよ
The guy had a knife.
あ
Upon further inspection, I noticed his clothes were scuffed up. Honami or Junko must have trounced him in their fight. Now he was taking his anger out on Ray.
あんたたちこれ使ったんじゃないの
Arata kicked the knife lying on the ground and sent it sliding into the hoodie guy's shoe.
はあはあ使ったって証拠でもあるのかただ持ってただけで偶然それが落ちたのかもしれないだろうそんなふざけた疑惑だけでここまでやられなきゃならねえのかよ
Yes.
刺されるかもしれないと思ったら必死になるのも仕方がないよ
うるせ黙れ
The man leaned closer to Ray. Ray stiffened.
調子に乗ってんじゃねえぞ
Upon second glance, I realized this guy was holding a knife too. The tip was touching Ray's abdomen. Sure, his clothes were in the way, but the knife could probably cut through them. This was enough to snap Ray back to his senses. He glared back at the man with the knife. After a moment of prolonged eye contact, the man backed away.
覚えてろよ
With that, the men in black turned and forced their way through the circle of onlookers. Rata watched them go with concern.
あの人たち全員武器を持ってるんじゃないかな
私もやられたわ。ナイフじゃなくてアイスピックみたいなやつだったけど。もう最低最悪よ。周りからは見えないように服の袖に隠してね。
かなりタチが悪いわねっていうかあいつらもしかして
Honami fell silent and shot a sidelong glance at Ray.
あの集団暴行グループの残党でしょ。可能性はあるわね。
やっぱりそうよね。デスマッチエリアから追い出してやりたいんだけど。危険分子よ、危険分子。
確かに、私と対戦したやつもナイフを使ってきたわ。でも。
Ray stared at the ground and slowly balled his bloody hands in the fist.
私がやりすぎたのは事実よ。
それは正当防衛じゃない仕方がないわ
どんな理由であれ、あいつらはきっと復讐に来るはずよ。
あんな奴らだもの。レイがやりすぎなくたって逆恨みして復讐に来るわよ。
そうよそうよ
でもしばらくはデスマッチエリアの外でも気をつけた方がいいかもしれないねああいう連中は何をするかわからないし
そうね。
We're seeing Ray stare down at the bloodstains on the asphalt. After that, the mood was so miserable that everyone decided to call it a night early. Ooh, hello, 3D motorcycle. Ray said he would take me home, so we headed off to the place where his motorcycle was parked. He was silent the entire time we were walking, but once we made it to his motorcycle, he suddenly spoke.
ねえ、とは。
Yes. I looked at him wordlessly.
お肉が食べたいんだけど、付き合ってよ。トアは食べなくてもいいから。
Okay. Mumbling weakly, he swung a leg over his bike. Evidently, I didn't get a say in the matter, but then again, I saw no reason to say no. Let's go. Woo. Nighttime version. Silently, I hopped on behind him. Aww, poor babe. Having a hard time. At the steakhouse, I sat and watched as Ray devoured his food without a word. Then he drove me back to the clinic, but when I hopped off, he followed me. Apparently, he wanted to come back to my place. Yeah. Let him stay over. It's not like you sleep in the bed anyway. Ray had proclaimed that meat always cheered him up, but even after he polished off a huge ribeye, he still looked gloomy. Give him a hug. He needs a hug. I walked into my apartment where I switched on the TV, then took off my coat and threw it over the back of the sofa. He stood next to the sofa and stared blankly at the TV flickering in the dark. As I was pulling a half-empty bottle of booze out of the fridge, I heard him sigh.
いつもはお肉を食べるとすっきりするのに。なんだか今日は全然ダメね。
You need a hug.
600g 食べたのに。
21-ounce steak. Holy crap.
食べたのに。よ。
He let out another heavy sigh, took a swig from the bottle, then offered it to him. He cringed at my less than classy behavior, but took the bottle and started to drink. I could hear the fluid sloshing around as he swallowed again and again.
おいしい。この飲み方はどうかと思うけど。ありがとう。
He handed the bottle back to me. I took it and had another sip. Yeah, the amount of saliva backwash. It's just gross.
急にこんなこと言うのもおかしいんだけど。
He looked back at the TV as he spoke. I wondered if he was avoiding my gaze on purpose.
血のつながりって何なのかしらね。大事なものだってことはもちろん分かってるわ。でも。
I really don't think Toa understands the concept either.
私、父親とはもうずっと会ってないし、連絡も取ってないのよ。赤の他人も同然だわ。なのに、血がつながってるから尻拭いをしろって言われても、本当に意味がわかんないのよ。親は子を選べないし、子も親を選べない。向こうも私みたいなのが自分の子供で嫌なんでしょうけど、私だって同じよ。
Why don't you live with your mom then? Why'd you live with your dad?
血のつながりなんて解消したいくらいだわ。でも、親子である限り、それはできない。そのせいで、都合がいい時にだけ親子関係を引っ張り出して、私に全部押し付けて、こんなの、憎むなっていう方が無理よ。私はあいつの子供である前に、一人の人間なのよ。私の意志は尊重されないの。
Aww. This boy needs a hug.
今すぐにでも断ち切りたい血のつながりのせいで。
He really needs a hug. Oh my gosh. I know I keep saying that, but he really does.
本当にヘドが出るわ。わけわかんない。もう。
He balled his hands in a fist.
ああ、もやもやする。ほんとやだ。
抜いてやろうか。
What? Where did that come from, Toa? What?
え?
Yeah, what? That just went from like 0 to 100. Holy crap. And then he looked at me, his mouth. I go, I'm confused too. What?
何?
What? What?
抜いてやろうかって。
I, But though I repeated myself, this didn't seem to help him understand. What?
冗談でしょ?
いや。
What? Okay, dead serious. I shook my head. His cheeks slowly flushed pink.
何言ってんのよ。やめてよ、はしたない。そういうんじゃないんだから。
No, Ray, let's do this. Let's do this. It seemed to really fluster him. Evidently, he was a lot more pure and innocent than I thought. Frankly, I knew very little of his love life. He seemed to have a lot of friends, so I figured he'd be open to casual hookups, but apparently not. Anyway, no, I wasn't joking. If steak wasn't enough to cheer him up, then that was the only other thing I could think of.
ああ、
It just hit
変
my
なこと
desk.
言われたおかげで気持ちが落ち着いてきたわ。本当にもう。帰るわね。
No, stay, no. Oh. Fanning his red face, Ray sped to the door. Then he paused and looked over his shoulder at me.
おやすみ。
No, come back. No, stay. Ray, no. No. With that curt farewell, he left the room. If he'd said yes, I would have done it, but evidently it wasn't that cut and dry for him. Amused by his blatant change of attitude, I took another swig of lukewarm booze from the bottle. It got lukewarm that fast? Holy crap. That was in the fridge. Oh, I'm a little disappointed, not gonna lie. After Ray went home that night, I sat on the sofa and drank until I passed out. For once I had a dream that wasn't a nightmare. A dream about Ray. Oh. I'm kind of concerned what it was. What is it? Fight? 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 We were in what looked like the deathmatch area. It was pouring rain, and Ray was fighting with someone. As he swung his fist, bathing in blood that possibly wasn't his own, he smiled like he was having the time of his life. At the same time, he looked like he was crying too. Maybe it was the rain. My eye captured every slight shift in his expression. I snapped awake the next day. For once, I could actually remember what I dreamed about. For a while, I lay there on the sofa, staring up at the ceiling, thinking about the dream. Then I eased myself into a sitting position and grabbed my sketch pad and pencil off the coffee table. I flipped to a blank page and started sketching mindlessly. These lines came together to form a drawing of Ray in a death match. Whether it was the same match from my dream or one I witnessed in real life, it was hard to say. I used rough lines to capture the raw energy felt against my skin, with particular attention given to Ray's sharp, predatory eyes. During death matches, he transformed into a vicious beast. So which was the real him, the innocent one or the violent one? All I knew for sure was that whenever he swung his fist, he smiled like he was having fun. The more blows that were exchanged between him and his opponent, the more excited he became. Ray was currently struggling under the weight of an unbearable burden. Now those negative emotions were starting to have adverse effects in other facets of his life, like today's deathmatch. The more stressed he became, the more his outer shell would peel away, exposing his true nature. And then Ray that beat the sparring opponent within an inch of his life was still a valid part of Ray himself. That side of him was burned into my retina, or maybe my mind. On the paper, I traced over his cheek again and again, like I was trying to make him real. Then I added a heavy dark weight to his eyes. I want to see it. Or not. Okay. That's okay. Whatever. The next day. Ray told me he wanted to talk, so the two of us ate lunch at my place. Ooh, yummy. Look at that. Looks delicious. Is that egg? Instead of usual homemade cooking, he brought bento boxes, which he picked up from somewhere. Apparently he woke up late and didn't have time to cook this morning.
ここの酢豚弁当、すっごく美味しいって評判でね。
Ooh, yummy.
一度食べてみたいと思ってたからいいんだけど。
So good. Grabbed a piece of pork between his chopsticks and popped it into his mouth. His face lit up.
美味しい。とはも美味しいでしょ？
ああ、まあ。
Okay. Though I was holding my chopsticks, I wasn't really eating. This was pretty common for me, since I never had much of an appetite.
もう全然食べてないじゃない。いいわ。残したら私がもらうから。
Usually what we do anyway. Ray was already halfway through his own bento when he started nagging me. He may have seemed like he was back to his usual self, but I was sure it was an act. I set my chopsticks down, pushed my bento box in his direction, and grabbed my smokes. I expected him to scold me for smoking during a meal, but he just sat there glaring down at the half-eaten food.
ねえ、お願いがあるんだけど。
Yes, sweetie? He looked up at me and leaned forward slightly.
今夜ね、すっごく人気のスイーツビュッフェの予約を取ってるんだけど、一緒に行こうって言ってた子が休養でダメになっちゃったの。
Are we going on a date? Is he asking Toa on a date finally?
他のスイーツ好きな子に行けるか聞いてみたんだけど、急すぎるから無理だって言われちゃって。
Sure they do. Yeah, I totally believe that.
とはビュッフェに付き合ってくれない？
I don't believe it. I think you want that.
タクは甘いもの苦手だし、頼める人がトアしかいないのよ。お願い。
Go alone. He closed his eyes, clasped his hands together, and beseeched me like I was God himself. I pulled the unlit cigarette from between my lips and sighed in annoyance. Why did Ray always try to feed me sweets? He acted like I was the only person left on Earth. But surely he had some more friends he could ask. Besides, I didn't like sugary stuff any more than Taku did.
そんな貴重な場所に同行するのが俺でいいのか？
He's asking us on a date, Toa. Let's go. At this, he smiled awkwardly.
これでもう最後にするの。大好きなものをたくさん食べまくっておしまい。これからはそんな余裕もなくなるんだし。
Yes. His tone was casual in an attempt to keep the mood light, but to me it only emphasized how hard he was struggling. Yeah. We should go, Toa. Let's go, Toa.
わかった。
Instantly, his face lit up like the 4th of July.
ありがとうトア。無理言ってごめんね。
It's fine.
わかってるだろうけど、そんなに食べないからな。
We never do.
もちろんよ。トアの分も私が食べるから大丈夫。
Giddy, he finished the rest of his lunch and moved on to mine, which was nearly untouched. How are you still alive, Toa? I lit my cigarette and watched him eat.
そんなに食べて太らないのか？
The dude exercised, leave him
仕
alone.
事とデスマッチで発散できてるみたい。
He put a hand over his mouth and answered through a mouthful of food.
でも最近は心のカロリー過多になっちゃってるからね。そっちは精神的な満足度を上げないと発散できないのよ。
心のカロリー。
He's stressed out, Toa. He fell still, swallowed the food in his mouth and looked away.
借金のこととかね。
He's stressed out, Toa. Come on. He answered quietly and gazed down at his chopsticks in contemplation for a few seconds. Then he exhaled all the negative energy and went back to eating.
それより夜がとっても楽しみだわ。
As he spoke, he smiled ear to ear. Oh, we get to go on a date! Yay! We get to go on a date, finally! Maybe, if Toa doesn't frickin' blow it. After lunch, Ray cleared away the bento boxes and left. There was still plenty of time before we were scheduled to go to the buffet, so I figured I'd head out into town. Crushed my cigarette in the ashtray and pulled on my coat. Kill time wandering around town. Okay. Let's save. Okay, let's move. Let's go down the line. Making my way downtown, walking fast. Space is fast.
よ、
Hi, Taku.
ああ、
Hi.
ちょっといいか。
What's up?
実は。
Okay. I mean, why
ポ
not?
ジティブに。
I guess. Yeah, I mean, you still get a scar. But is it the right thing to do?
よし、
I don't know.
いいんじゃないか。
Yeah, like, you could get an infection if it's not taken care of, or whoever they are.
なるほど。
Alright. Bye. let's just move down the list. Oh, street. And shot out from the alley and grabbed my coat. It's Oddish! Hi, Oddish! Hi. We're gonna talk about the naked man some more? Yeah? Yes?
うわ
Ooh, a ghost? Oh, is that a guy that we know?
あ
Peter to pay Paul and over and yeah. Yeah, don't borrow money at all. I'm not gonna talk to you, Oddish. I really don't need to. Let's go to Co Street. I don't know why he likes talking to me. Oh
Yo.
no, I don't want to talk to you, Tono. Go away. Fine.
元気か？
あ
Yes. Just don't be a gross old man.
そうか。
Oh, get out of my face. Yeah, get out of my
ネ
face.
ガティブにわからない
Yeah, screw you, man. Go away.
なんだ？
What do you want?
そうか
Right. I don't want to talk to you anymore, you creepy old bag. Alright. On to a barrel alley. Any random people in the alley? No? Okay. Nothing. Let's go to Roost then. Why are these green? I don't know why they're green. Anything in Roost? No? Okay. Nightlife district? Just moving on down that list. Pizza Nut. Aroma relaxation. Maddie lingerie. Sorry. No parking from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Huh, okay. No one's here. Let's see. Oh, station. Ah. Do 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 do. Bulletsy breeze tickles my cheek. This pier that runs along. Yep. This pier only serves taxis. Hey. Okay, remember what they got denied passage due to his dead or web tag.
あらやだ
Huh? This. Oh, what up, everyone? Hi, y'all looking fantastic.
こんにちは。
Hi, Karata.
ああ
Hey, everyone. Hello, let's talk.
何何
特には
No.
そうなんだ。
Ooh, cream puff. Light cream puffs.
そういえば、
No? Yeah.
そうね。
Yeah, I guess.
ん
It's obviously what they want to hear. I mean, yeah, Junko's awesome. Let's be positive.
ポジティブにへえ
Nope. I didn't know. I like Junko.
まあね。
I get it.
そうか。
そうね。
Well, yeah. It's like the US, you go to different parts and it's like going to another country.
あらやだ。
Alright, goodbye. Leave me. Bye. Have fun doing what you're doing. I don't need to go to Taijima's for anything, right? Maybe I'm supposed to meet? I don't know. Alright, let's go to the taco city. HQ offices. Nothing? Yes? No? Okay. Yeah, we already read this. Yeah, okay. We already read that before. City ruins. Hmm. Huh. Hmm. Huh. Oh, hi, hi, Mayu. Uh.
なになに？
ああ、 ネガティブに。ダメだろ。
I was like, well, yeah, I have to. Can't you record it? Or just buy it? No can do.
よし。
またね。
Bye, Mayu.
そうか。
To the deathmatch area. Hmm. Hmm. It's all stuff we've heard before. Oh, hi, Totoro. What's up? I still love the abs. Hi, cat.
珍しいな。
Still wanna yank on that chain on your face, man.
それで。
なあ。
What? No? I don't think so.
ネガティブに。ないな。
I'm confused too. What? What? The other day they had me clearing up.
それはな。
そうか。
Something. Oh, okay. I think I know what it is. Was it our mom? We don't know what she did. She was involved with the Yakuza, so she might have worked in a nightclub.
ああ。
そうか。
Doesn't really matter. Yeah, because She had to meet the Yakuza somehow, so working at a club would make the most sense. Alright, well, bye? How am I supposed to go? Does this end? Let me save. I don't know where I'm supposed to go. Okay, move. Heichmas? Yeah. I guess I'm going back home. I don't know. When I returned to my apartment, the TV was still on. I sat down on the sofa without bothering to take my coat off. Yeah, because we're going to meet up with Ray, right? I looked at the clock to check the time, then fixed my gaze on the TV screen and zoned out. Then I reached down and grabbed the floor bottle. Took a lukewarm swig. Jeez, dude, you have like alcohol everywhere. Woo! There we go! That evening, Ray and I left the clinic on his motorcycle. Our destination was the dessert buffet. The dessert buffet was located in District B, held in the lounge of a luxury hotel. I don't think at least Toa's not gonna fit in. He's going to very much stand out. After a 15-minute drive, we parked in the parking lot and took the elevator up to the ground floor. Yeah. Ooh, look at that. Oh, it's Sakaki's. Okay, we'll be fine. The mezzanine lobby was pleasantly vast and empty. As the quiet trickle of the fountain echoed in the background, we walked across the polished marble floor. Are we sure this isn't a date? I swear this is a date.
やだ。すごい。
It's
す
so
っ
cool.
ごい。
I agree. It's very pretty. I like the tree. Ray clasped both hands together at chest height and gazed around deeply impressed. I'm impressed too. I'd be very overwhelmed. At the glance, most of the clientele looked... Oje? No, that is... But there were a handful of low-class punks who would have fit in on Coast Street. They're probably here for the casino.
ビュッフェ会場はこの先にあるみたいよ。
Oh no,
行
there's
き
a
ましょう。
casino? Oh no, his dad probably works here. Oh, gall. Ray took a look at the directory, then started walking.
一攫千金当てられたらいいわよね。
We're not going to gamble. That's why your dad's in debt. You murmured quietly as we passed the casino floor.
試してみたらどうだ。
No, don't do it.
今の私にそういうこと気軽に言う？
Exact. Koa. I shrugged. He shook his head firmly.
絶対やらない。そもそも私運ないし。
Yeah.
ギャンブルは人をダメにするのよ。
Because people don't know when to stop. He sounded like he was speaking from experience, and then he spotted the buffet area and his expression brightened. Glanced over at the lounge. The line of women waited to get in and instantly felt out of place, but nevertheless I followed after him. Ooh, I like this place. Unsurprisingly, the buffet customers were 90% female. What's that supposed to mean? Actually, I'm not even denying it. On occasion, I spotted a guy who probably came here on a date, but there weren't many. Oddly enough, though, Ray looked just as male as me. He seemed to fit right in. I mean,
やだー可愛いし美味しそう
he's super cute, but he's very broad. How can you... Anyway. He squealed excitedly and ran off into the crowd of women to get his dessert. He's adorable. Alone, I sank into the uncomfortably soft glove seat and waited for his return. I didn't belong here in this pristine, all-white lounge. The other patrons were all too busy eating and chatting to pay me any mind. That much I could appreciate. I started to pull out my smokes and caught a sign of no smoking. With a sigh, I stopped myself. The only thing I could do was sit there and wait. After a while, Ray returned carrying a plate in each hand, both piled high with desserts.
全部美味しそうで迷っちゃった。
Try a little bit of everything. That's my motto. Beaming from ear to ear, he set plates down on the table and sat on the love seat across from me. Ooh, look at that. That looks absolutely yummy. Worms. The sight of brightly colored treats instantly gave me heartburn.
い
Yeah.
ただきます。トアも好きなの食べていいからね。
Strawberry
あとドリ
cake.
ンクも何か飲みたかったら取りに行くといいわ。
Give me lots of booze. This all looks so good, though. He picked up his fork and started in on a slice of cake laden with icing.
美味しい。さすが予約が取れないだけあるわね。もう最高。トアも食べてみなさいよ。
Okay. Squealing in delight, he pushed the other plate in my direction. I stared down coldly out at the mountain of cake, but he didn't seem to notice. All these are like bite-sized, really tiny actually. So good. He was eating with such relish that he was getting frosting all over his face and hands. I found it hard to believe that the cake could possibly be that good. Pushing myself off the love seat, I picked up the fork. Then I took a bite of the brown cake right in front.
どう？美味しい？
It's probably chocolate.
まあ
Whatever. Honestly, I couldn't taste any flavor other than the overpowering sugar content. I tried a few others, but they all tasted exactly the same to me. It made Anagawa Cafe's honey toast taste good by comparison. Ray wolfed down one dessert after another, then moved on to the second plate.
やだ、これ美味しい。トア、ちょっと食べてみて。
Feed it to me. Ah! Feed it. Leaned across the table, offering me the plate. Reached out to take it, but accidentally stuck my fingers in some frosting.
あー、ちょっとクリームついちゃったじゃない。貸して
Lick
よ。
it off, lick it off, lick it off, lick it off. Grinning, he set the plate down, then took my hand and drew it to his lips. Yes! Yay! Good for Toa. Before I could figure out what to expect, he licked the frosting right off my fingers. Yay! Good job, Toa. We're making progress. It was so ballsy, it startled me. It'd be one thing if it was Bruce, but we were at a fancy buffet venue for women. Was he getting a sugar high? I knew before I agreed to this that whenever Ray consumed a lot of sugar, he would get a little weird. With his damp eyes and flushed cheeks, he'd be forgiven for thinking he was shit-faced.
美味しい。
Oh, I like you like this. Let's keep pumping you full of sugar. He licked my fingers clean and smiled dreamily. He was the only person I knew who could get drunk on sugar. Silently, I retracted my hand and wiped it on the warm, wet towel provided to our table.
ねえ、トア。
Yes? As Ray went back to his cake feast, he suddenly spoke up.
男らしさって何だと思う？
At this sudden question, I shot him a dubious look. He ignored me and kept eating his cake.
今のお前の姿じゃないことは確かだ。
Oh, Toa, stop! As I rolled my eye, he stopped eating and glared at me.
じゃあどういう姿が男らしいのよ？喧嘩？スポーツ？何？
Depends on the person, actually.
さあな、俺に聞かれても。
Depends on the society and their definition of it, and it also depends on the person.
私、あんたの傷跡はかっこいいと思うわ。男らしいと思う。
I would agree to that, though. I would agree to that. They could look good on a female, too, but they are very, like... Yeah, I agree, Ray. I agree.
普通はそう思わない。
そうかしら。でも、初めて会った時のトアって男らしかったわよ。
But we met in middle school, right? Did Toa have scars in middle school?
冗談だろ。
うんうん。
He shook his head with a firm look in his eyes.
昔のトアは今よりもっと尖ってた。私ね、男らしさっていうのは
His gaze drifted as he molded over.
信念を曲げないことだと思うの。こうと決めたら貫き通すみたいな。そういう意味ならトアも男らしいうちに入るでしょ。
Like I said, it's all depends on the person.
俺に信念なんてあると思うか？
あるわよ。ある。私はそう思ってる。
お前は？
私は
I think they're both masculine. Long hair doesn't make you feminine. His expression clouded over faintly.
私は全然男らしくなんてないわ。喋り方とかそういうことじゃなくて、信念って意味でも違うと思う。
That's not. You're masculine enough. You're not. Dispirited, he went back to his scissors. Oh, come on. Oh, sweetie. I know that most guys don't like it when you call them cute, but I do that, so. We didn't talk much after that. In the end, Ray polished off all 4 plates of cake all by himself. Oh, that's so much cake, Ray.
はあ、美味しかった。お腹いっぱい。もう食べられないわ。
I think you're plenty masculine, Ray. He leaned back against the love seat, his eyes unfocused like he was completely blitzed.
いっつもそうなんだけど、甘いものをたくさん食べた後ってなんだかエッチしたくなるんだよね。
Is that why we were invited? This sudden, overly honest confession got my attention quickly. This was yet another aspect of his sugar intoxication.
ならない？
そもそも甘いもんを食べないからな。
そっか。
I
私だけかな。
I mean, they do say that chocolate-covered strawberries have that effect.
デスマッチの後もお肉をすっごく食べたくなるんだけど、なんだか私興奮と食欲がつながってるみたい。
Well, when you work out, you should have like protein or something. And getting in a fight, I guess, is very athletic. So eat some protein. Trailed his fork over his empty plate as he spoke.
そういうのってない？
欲求不満なんじゃないのか。
I volunteer. We volunteer. I'm volunteering Toa. He slowly tilted his head.
どうかしら。
処理は一人でやってるのか。
Wow, we are talking in public like this. Filter ourselves. My blunt question seemed to snap him out of his revere. He jumped up and glared at me.
ご心配いただかなくても間に合ってます。
Okay. Do you have a special someone then? A fuck buddy? Admittedly, my curiosity was piqued by this stomach to adrenal gland connection. I kind of understand it since my libido was directly linked to violence.
さあ、そろそろ帰りましょうか。
He rose to his feet and headed off to pay the bill. Likewise, I got up from the sofa and headed to the exit to wait for him outside. We were having some intense conversations.
ねえ、これカジノの無料券も
No,
らっ
Ray,
たんだけど。
let's not ruin it. We're probably gonna run into your dad there. Let's know. When Ray walked out, he handed something in my direction. It looked almost like a credit card. Apparently, you could withdraw a set amount of casino chips from it for free.
せっかくだし行ってみない？こんな券でもなければカジノなんて縁がないし。
No, don't do it.
ギャンブルは人をダメにするんじゃ
It
なかっ
is.
たの
Don't
か。
do it. Well, I
も
mean,
ちろんタダだからやるのよ。
it's not your
無
own
料で
money.
遊べる範囲しかやらないわ。カジ
We're gonna
ノ
run into his
は
dad, aren't we?
あっちね。
Well, I mean, it's not your money, so it's not like you're losing anything, so I'd be fine with that too. Step towards the casino area. A security guard was stationed at the entrance, carefully screening everyone who went in. We're gonna run into his dad. I just know it's just gonna ruin this whole date. During his penetrating gaze, we stepped inside. I don't like casinos. They always smell of like cigarettes and booze. I never like the smell and I don't like it. And that's why I'm like, yeah, I've been to Vegas a couple times. It's just not really my thing, you know? I have friends who we went there. Last time I went there, let's just say I was not there for the casinos. I went to a I took my friend because she's like, I've never had a good time at Vegas. I'm like, okay, I have connections, we'll go. So we went and we stayed and we went to Thunder Down Under show. I think those were silly, but she was such a woo girl. She was having so much fun. We got ripped off t-shirts thrown at us. She had a blast, and I was having fun because everyone else was having fun. Because I'm an energy parasite. If everyone else is having fun, I'm having fun. The whole thing was silly to me. If I went those things were ridiculous to me. But she had so much fun, so I was happy. But yeah, I don't really like Vegas. It's the only time I went. It was fun, but I don't like it. I don't like Vegas. Anyway, back to the show, guys. From the brightly flashing slot machines to the dealer's tables, there were games of all kinds. Everywhere you looked, there were customers betting their life savings away. It wasn't my first time ever setting foot in the casino, but it had certainly been a while. No interest in gambling. Also, casinos are freaking loud. I don't like it. I didn't care for glitz and glamour, so I never felt the need to visit one of my own volition.
久しぶりに入ってみたけど、すごいわね。熱気に圧倒されるわ。
Refusing to be outdone, Ray shouted over the din at me. Yeah, it's
初心
loud.
者だし、スロットでもやってみようかしら。コインを変えてくるわね。
He walked off to the exchange counter while I waited for him a short distance away. The casino floor didn't seem to prohibit smoking, so I probably lit a cigarette. Yeah, that's why I'm like, it just reeks of booze and all sorts of things. And it's like old cigarettes because it can't get that smell out, so it just lingers forever. After it took a nice long drag, Ray returned with his casino chips.
ドアもやってみたら。はい。
Rose Seaside S. Well, he handed me the card with his leftover chip balance. Then he walked to a nearby slot machine, sat down on the stool, and started playing. I stood there for a while, holding the card and watching him play slots. I still had no interest in gambling, but figured I'd play slots at the machine next to Ray. Yeah, might as well. So I sat down and got started, but a few games later, I used up all my chips.
やだ、これって当たりじゃない？なんかすごいんだけど。
Loud music began emanating from Ray's machine as an animation of falling chips appeared on screen.
うわー、すごい気持ちいいわ。とはどう？
No, and that's how they get you. That's that freaking...
全然。
It's that adrenaline kick when you win.
あら、残念。
Yeah, he couldn't suppress a gleeful grin. Can we leave now? After the chip animation finished, Ray took his card back and rose from the stool.
この当たった時の感覚が病みつきになって、
Yeah,
きっとみんなやめられなくなるのね
it's。that adrenaline rush. Yep, it's exactly what it is.
今、確かにとっても楽しかったから、気持ちはわからなくもないわ。
Still hoping we don't run into his sad. He looked down at the card in his hand and frowned faintly.
こんなもの、本当に一瞬よ。大金を得るのも一瞬なら、
Yep.
失うのも一瞬だわ。
And remember, kids, casinos are designed to make you lose. That's their business. They're not going to be letting people win.
そして、失ったものは二度と取り戻すことができない。なのに、自分の運命を簡単にかけるだなんて、理解できない。
Smiled sadly as brow furrowed.
このお金は、借金の返済に当てようと思うわ。
Good decision, Ray. He started to walk to the exchange counter, then stopped short. It's his dad, right? I was right behind him, so I nearly crashed into him. Hastily, I pulled the cigarette from my lips.
どうした？
I almost burned you, dude. It's his dad, isn't it? He didn't respond, so I walked up next to him and peered at his face. It was as if time itself had come to a halt. He was frozen in place, his eyes fixed on a single point, complexion ghostly pale, like he was on the verge of a breakdown. We shouldn't have come here. We knew his dad had a gambling problem. Something had to be wrong, so I followed his gaze. Yeah, there he is. There I saw a middle-aged man sitting slouched at a slot machine. He was thin and poorly dressed with a messy hair. He didn't seem to match the vibe of the casino, which meant he was actually probably a regular customer. Cursing, he slammed the slot machine with his hands. Ray, this way, you shouldn't have come to the casino. Ray let out a shaky breath, turned on his heel, and bolted.
レイ、
Ray, money! Ray! Oh, whatever. He dashed out of the casino. Left behind, I looked back at the middle-aged man. He was still focused on the slot machine. Ray had taken one look at him and freaked out, which could only mean this man was probably Ray's dad. I crush my cigarette in the nearest ashtray and head for the exit. Yeah, poor Ray. His dad's just adding more and more onto that debt. Nothing he can do about it. Okay, so I'm gonna call it a night. I'm gonna call it here. So let's go ahead and save. And yep, let's call it a night. Thank you guys once again for joining me. We're finally developing a relationship with Ray, and I'm super excited, which only means that we're getting close to the end. I don't know what it'll probably be like another 2 or 3 episodes. So I hope you guys are having fun. I hope you have a good week. And I will see you lovelies next time. Bye-bye.